Today we're speaking about the Nazir. The Torah seems to call the Nazir a holy sinner. It's very strange, because if you take a look at the Chumash, Midbar 6, Pasuk 8, in Midbar 6, Pasuk 8, the Torah says, Kol Yemei Nizra Kadosh Hashem. All of his days of Nazirus is Kadosh. He's holy to Hashem. So the Torah calls the Nazir holy. By Midbar 6, Pasuk 8, he's holy. Yet in Pasuk 11, V'asa kohen echad lechatat ve'echad le'olah. When the Nazir is finished, he has to bring a korban chatat, because he sinned against his soul. So I'm mixed up. In the Midbar 6, Pasuk 8, the Torah calls him Kadosh. He's holy. In Midbar 6, verse 11, when he finishes term, he has to bring a sin offering because he sinned against his soul. Says Rashi, he sinned against his soul. What does that mean? Shem says, I gave you delicious grape juice and grapes to eat, and you are more religious than the Torah? Grapes are good, they're delicious, grape juice. So why are you taking on extra chumras that the Torah does not demand? So you're a sinner. The Talmud Yishalmi Kiddushin says, Lacha mea v'esrim, we're going to have to give a din b'cheshbon, Avram, for all the delicious food that Hashem gave us and we refused to eat. So, why call him Kadosh? And then turn around, call him a Choteh. Choteh al nefesh. In Hebrew you would say Choteh Kadosh, or in English you would say a holy sinner.
Like a holy miser.
A holy sinner. Is he holy or is he a sinner, Avram? You hear the question on the table? Now, this same stira that you have in the Chumash, you have in the Rambam as well. The Rambam Mar Nevuchim says as follows. Someone who separates himself from wine, like the Nazir, he's Kadosh, like the Kohen Gadol. You know, a Nazir has Kiddush and Chava like a Kohen Gadol. You know that? Just like a Kohen Gadol cannot go to his own mother's funeral, the same thing with a Nazir, he's Kadosh. So the Rambam Mar Nevuchim says, a Nazir is like the Kohen Gadol. But in Hilchas Deus, Dr. Hackett, he calls a Nazir what? A Choteh. Hello? Again, Avram, we have the same stira, the same dichotomy that the Torah speaks about. And the same paradox is found in the Gemara in Tainus, page 11. Someone who occupies himself in fasting. One man the Yomer says he's Kadosh, and the other man the Yomer says he's a Choteh. Again, a holy sinner, someone who abstains from worldly pleasures. One man the Yomer says that he's a holy guy, and the other man the Yomer says he's what? He's a Choteh. So what is the explanation over here? So there are a few. Let me see if I can get them all in. The Talmud is very exact, Chava, in the language. Someone who's Yoshev betanit, nikra Choteh. What's what Yoshev?
He sits.
He sits. In other words, the Tanit did not make him a better person. He's Yoshev, status quo. He didn't grow spiritually. Then you went on a diet, you lost weight. What did you accomplish? Then you're a Choteh. If the Tanit, if the Nazirut made you a better person, a kinder, gentler, more derech eretz person, then you're a Kadosh. But if you're Yoshev, the Talmud is exact, Yoshev, you didn't progress, you didn't change for the better. You're complacent. If the Nazirut didn't make you a better person, then what? Then what good is it? If you change for the better, then you're a Kadosh. So the Talmud is so exact, Avram, Tainus, page 11. If you're Yoshev betanit, or Yoshev benazirut, it didn't change you for a better person, then what you accomplished? You went on a diet, you didn't eat grapes and grape juice. So you think God needs your diet? The purpose of the Nazir is to make you a kinder, gentler, more giving, caring human being. If you did that, you're a Kadosh. But if not, if you didn't change, you remained the same person you were going in, then what did you accomplish? Therefore, So therefore, it depends. Is the Nazir holy, Chava, or is he what? Choteh. We decide how the Nazirut affected our behavior. Are we the same going in as we going out? Then it's a Choteh. You didn't accomplish anything. If you became a kinder person, a more spiritual, giving person, then of course, then you are a Kadosh. So there is no stira. Is the Nazir a saint or a sinner? So the Rambam and Moreh Nevuchim have the same idea. Someone who separates himself from wine, the Rambam says he's Kadosh K'Kohen Gadol. That's if he became a better person. When the Rambam says in Hilchos Deus he's a sinner, it means he didn't change. He's the same boor he was going in. Then what did you accomplish? You're a sinner. You deprived yourself of delicious fruits that Hashem gave you. You don't want to eat that. You didn't change. You didn't accomplish anything. So that's one explanation how the Nazir can be called a sinner and holy at the same time. But there's a deeper explanation, Avram. Is the Nazir a saint or a sinner? Yes? There's a pasuk in Koheles, Adam ein tzadik ba'oretz asher yaseh tov v'lo yechta. Koheles chapter 7. There is no human being on the face of the earth that is what? Completely goody two-shoes and doesn't sin. Every person is a sinner. The greatest tzaddik is a sinner. So the Torah is saying that a person can be kadosh and be a chot at the same time. Cecil, it's very strange. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of man? My Rebbe Rapam Zatzal would say that every person, no matter how great he is a Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde. That's every person. And if you don't believe that, he said, you don't really know yourself. Person can be kadosh and be a chot at the same time. That's the paradox of the human being. Yes? Is the Nazir holy or is he a sinner? Yes. Yes. A Rebbe said, Eitz Adas Toiv V'Ra. It's murav. Good and evil are mixed up. That's the way a human being is. When he's good, he's very good. And when he's bad, the same person can be what? Multiple persons. We are all a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, said my Rebbe. And they said, if you don't believe that, you don't know yourself.
I said that about Susie. You said she was good, she was very good. When she was bad, she was even better.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's and it's a constant struggle, Shirley.
That's why we have Yom Kippur.
That's right. And therefore, Malach Elohim Olim the Yardim Bo. Says the Baal Shem Tov. Who are the Malach Elohim going up and going down? Who? Us. Sometimes we go up and sometimes we go down. But don't be what? Be miyayish, said the Baal Shem Tov. Sheva yipol tzadik v'comes. A pasuk in Mishlei, the tzadik will fall 7 times. Even Ezra says 7 means a lot in Tanakh. So why is he called a tzaddik? V'com. Because he gets up. Because he's not miyayish. We shall overcome. And the Baal Shem Tov puts a spin on it, Avram. Sheva yipol tzadik v'com, only when a tzaddik falls 7 times and he's not miyayish and he keeps getting up, only then is he called what? A tzaddik. We all are that Nazir, choteh and holy. It's a constant struggle. You're not going to win every battle, Avram. But even the battles that I lose, it's a yerida l'tzarech aliyah. Sheva yipol tzaddik, mishlei v'kam. The tzaddik and the rasha both fall. The rasha falls into depression. There's no hope for me anyway. I might as well stay, what? In the disco. But the tzaddik says, I fail, but I'm going to get up and be better. And try to become better. And that's what makes him a tzaddik. But everybody sins, Avram. Koheles chapter 7. There's no human being on the face of the earth, not even Moses, that what? That does not sin. But that should not get us down, as Shirley said, because we have Yom Kippur, And we know b'mokum shebal tshuva omed that tzaddik gomer liyochal lamod. A bal tshuva stands much higher, Chava, than what? Than tzaddik gomer. And you're on Yuma, page 86, you do tshuva mehava, all of your averot become what? Mitzvot, mind-boggling. Tshuva mehava Avram, all of your averos become what? Become mitzvot. So even though you're a sinner, you do tshuva, you become better than you were before. So this is the idea of the Nazir, that the Nazir is a holy, all of us are holy sinners. Good and evil at the same time. It's a constant struggle. Now, the question Yehuda and Lev asked me a good question. A Nazir is not allowed to drink grape juice. Chavak, you get shikra on grape juice?
No.
But a Nazir can drink J and B, Jewish booze. Or Glenfiddich. What's it called? Glenfiddich? Glenfiddich. But I don't understand, how come a Nazir can't drink grape juice, David? He can't shikra on grape juice, and he can't eat grapes, but he's allowed to drink beer and J and B. Very strange. Very strange. So, Maddie, what's it all about? So the Zohar HaKadosh says that what was the original Eitz Hadas? The grapevine, heard it through the grapevine. Remember that song by Marvin Gaye? No? I love that song. I heard it through the grapevine. The Zohar HaKadosh says that what? That the Eitz Hadas was the grapevine. God said, don't eat that grapevine, it's treifa for you. So the original sin was eating grapevine when God said, don't eat that. And it's very interesting that Noach, ish tzaddik tamim, Noach was a perfect tzaddik. The Torah testifies he was a perfect tzaddik. And when he came out of the ark, it says Noach, ish adama, planted a vineyard. Noach, ish adama, Avram, planted a vineyard. Now we know there are no extra words in the Torah. What does Isha Adama mean? The man of the, and now I know surely Noach didn't live on planet Mars. What does the Torah have to say that Noach, the earth man, planted a vineyard? He didn't live in Venus. Isha Adama means the man of the earth. So the Zohar says Isha Adama, the root of the word Adama, Yud, is what? Adam. He planted a vineyard because he wanted to be metaken the chet of the Adam. The original sin was kerem. So he's going to plant a vineyard. And in Yahadut, the tikkun comes from the chet. Noach could have been the new Adam, Yehuda. He could have been the new Adam. Adam sinned with the vine. Now, Noach Isha Adama, from the word Adam, he could use that sin to what? Be metaken it. Because in Yahadut, the tikkun comes from the sin. But he also failed. He failed. Noach failed like Adam failed. And therefore, says the Zohar, when we make Kiddush, Savim Aranan, what do you say? What do you say, L'chaim Zisel? Because the original vine brought death to the world. The Eitz Hadas was the grapevine. So when Adam and Chava drank it, they brought death to the world. Now, when we make Kiddush, we say L'chaim. That's the tikkun. The tikkun comes from the chet. We sin with wine. Now we take wine and we make Kiddush and Havdalah and Sheva Brachas and Brit Milah. So therefore, we use wine to be metaken the chet of what? Of Adam Arishon. In Yahadut, the tikkun comes from the chet. We sin with gold. We build a golden calf, right? So God says, take gold and build me a golden tabernacle with golden lovebirds. God needs golden lovebirds in the Holy of Holies. Golden statues, Maddie, the Holy of Holies. But we sinned with a golden statue. So God says, you like gold so much, now build me a golden statue, but do it my way. The Kruvim are golden statues. So you see in Yahadut, Avram, the tikkun comes from the chet. There are two ways to metaken the chet in Yahadut. Like the Nazir, to run away from it. But there's a higher madrega, to indulge that wine and bring it back to Kedusha. The Nazir doesn't have faith in himself. See, he runs away from wine. He knows wine is a symbol of the Eitz Hadas, the original sin, the granddaddy of all sin. So he doesn't have confidence in himself. He runs away from wine. But the higher level is not to run away from wine, to use wine, but this time use it constructively. Kiddush. Every religious ceremony in Yahadut revolves around what? You know, Judaism, they tried to kill us, we won, let's eat. Make Kiddush. So every time you're using wine for Kiddush and Abdullah, what are you doing? Says the Zohar, you're attacking the chet of Adam. So the Nazir is afraid of that. Because he knows that wine is the original sin, so he runs away from it. The Torah says, okay, you can't handle it, run away from wine. J and B is good, because J and B was not Adam Eitz Hadas. But wine, grapes, is the symbol of the original rebellion of Adam and Chava, so therefore we indulge it by bringing it to a mitzvah, by elevating it. But the Nazir does not have what? How do you say self-bitachon? Self-confidence? So Hashem says, okay. Bitachon atzmi, thank you. Yes.
Rabbi Sprecher, why do you think Hashem picked Shimshon to be a Nazir?
Why did Hashem? Because Hashem knew that Shimshon is a very passionate individual. And the greater a person is, the greater is his Yetzer Hara. And if Shimshon would not have sinned with Delilah, he could have been the Mashiach. We discussed that last week. Yaakov Avinu says if Shimshon would not have sinned, he could have been the Mashiach. Because he could have been Metaken the Chet. Beautiful. Mikimi, I'm glad you came. Shimshon had to be a Nazir from wine, not J and B. Because he was going to be, Mashiach is going to come, Zisl Metaken the Chet of Adam Arishon. If Shimshon would have what? Not indulged, he would have been Metaken the Chet of Adam Arishon, which was what? Wine. He could have been the Messiah. David, close but no cigar. You listening to me? Shimshon could have been the Mashiach. Look at, we discussed that on Thursday. Pashas Vayechi, Yaakov Avinu prophesied in Pashas Vayechi that Shimshon could have been the Mashiach. If he would have passed the test and not given in, so that tikkun of the Yayin would have been metaken for the chet of Adam and Chava, which was what? Yayin, he could have been the Mashiach. But he failed. Noach could have been the Mashiach. Adam could have been the Mashiach.
Right.
Close but no cigar. But we are metaken the chet of Adam Arishon not by running away from wine like the Nazir. We're not spiritual cowards. The Nazir is a spiritual coward, may I dare say. We indulge Yayin, but we bring it back to Kedusha. We elevate. Kiddush, Havdalah, Brit Milah, Sheva Brachas. Rabbi Yaakov, it's all Yayin. Because we are what? Elevating the sin. The very object of sin now becomes a mitzvah. To be Mekadesh the Tava. Do it my way. That's much harder to do. But the Nazir doesn't have faith in himself. And therefore he what? Runs away. So therefore in a way he's called a sinner. He doesn't trust himself. He doesn't have self-confidence, yes? No. No. The Nazir doing his Nazirut, no wine, no grapes, no seeds of the grapes. We had a Nazir, yeah. No Kiddush. It's all right until he was a Nazir. But today, even though you're Nazir for 30, stop Nazirut is 30 days. But even when the 30 days are up, you have to bring Karbanot to get out. But there are no Karbanos today because there ain't no temple, so Maddie, he's stuck. The Nazir, even for 30 days, which is the minimum amount, when the time is up, he still cannot be released because there's no altar, there's no Mizbeach today. So he's stuck forever. He's stuck forever, right? He's a stuck forever, right? Mm-hmm. Now, very strange. In the Parsha, Bamidbar 5, you see that, Abraham? First the Torah writes Sota, and then the Torah writes Nazir. Why the Parsha's next door? Why is the Parsha Sota and Nazir next door? So Rashi quotes Chazal. Someone sees a Sota in degradation and he's turned on by her, he should what? Separate himself from Yayin, which can bring to what? To sexual immorality. Instead of using yayin for sexual immorality, use yayin l'kiddush, but he can't handle it. So the Torah puts the parsha of Soita first Avram, and then the Torah puts the parsha of Nazir. Someone sees a Soita in degradation, should not become a Nazir. But Rebbe in the Mishnah turns around the order. Torah writes first Sota and then Nazir. But Rebbe the Mishnayot, first he writes Masechta Nazir, then he writes Sota. Why does Rebbe change the order of the written Torah? You hear the question? The written Torah has first Sota and then Nazir. When Rebbe wrote the Mishnah, the oral Torah, first he wrote Nazir and then he wrote Sota. Do you mix me up? No. So let me give you my explanation. When the Jews left Egypt, they were in Memtesh Shari Tuma, weren't they? There's a pasuk in Tehillim 34, Su Mera Vasei Tov. What does that mean, David? Su Mera Vasei Tov. Turn away from evil, says King David, and do good. The Jews were in Memtesh Shari Tuma when they left Egypt. If you don't turn away from evil, Dr. Hackett, you slip into Nun Shari Tuma Lo Yaleinu. It's too late now. It's too late. So therefore, the Torah was speaking to the Yotzei Mitzrayim who were Memtesh Shari Tuma. They needed the emergency Sumara. What's Sumara? Pasha Sota. And then Asay Tov. Because if you don't do Sumara immediately, you slip from the Memtesh Shari Tuma into the Nun Shari Tuma. It's hopeless. You're gone. So therefore, the Torah had to write first Pasha Soita. Avram, that's Sumara. Emergency. And then Vasei Tov. But when Rebbe wrote the Mishnah, the Jews were no longer in what? Memtesh Shari Tuma. We are no longer in Memtesh Shari Tuma. So, for us, if you're going to concentrate on Sumara all the time, what does Sumara mean? This is no good, and this is usher, and this is forbidden, and this is don't. You turn the person off.
Yes.
He'll turn off. You never get to Asay Tov. It's a turn off. The person will tune out. So therefore, Rebbe, he changed the order. First he wrote what, Abraham? Masechta Nazir. What's that? Asay Tov. The beauty of Judaism. And then he wrote Masechta Sota. So Baal Tshuva comes, you're going to tell him what the don't. This you can't. It's a turn off. Goodbye. First you have to concentrate Avraham and Asay Tov. The beauty of Yahadut. And then you can focus on the Sumara. You have to know your audience. You have to know who you're talking to. Very interesting. Now, let's turn to a pasuk, a strange pasuk in this week's parsha. Bamidbar 6, pasuk 20. So the Nazir, Mikimia, after he finishes his Nazirut and he cuts his hair, he has to bring Karbanot. And then he's finished. Bamidbar 6, verse 20 says, the Kohen shall lift up the offering of the Nazir, and then the Nazir can drink wine. You see that pasuk, Rabbi Yaakov? Bamidbar 6, verse 20? Then the Nazir can drink wine. Does that make sense? Should have said the ex-Nazir can drink wine. Remember the ex-Khan? I don't understand. I'm mixed up, Zisla. You have the verse, Bamidbar 6, verse 20. After the Karbanot, the Nazir can drink wine. If he can drink wine, he's no longer what? A Nazir. Why does the Torah call him a Nazir when his term is completed? His Karbanos are given. Why continue to call him a Nazir? If he's a Nazir, he can't drink wine. Obviously, he's not a Nazir. He's an ex-Nazir. What's the message? Says the great Al-Shich HaKadosh, contemporary of the Ari HaKadosh. Says this incredible vart. His idea, Chava, I'll put it in my language. When I saw the movie Casablanca, I thought I was wasting my time. But I wasn't. Shirley, the most famous line in Casablanca, we'll always have Paris. Who remembers that? David, remember that? We'll always have Paris? What does that mean? He's no longer a Nazir.
But he'll always have his...
He'll always have that Nazirut. We'll always have Paris.
Always have it.
He'll always have it. Isn't that incredible? So even he's no longer a Nazir anymore. The Torah considers him, he'll always have that magic moment. You can't take that away from me. Remember that song, David? They can't take that away from me. Isn't that amazing how...
Nazir, always a Nazir?
No! But that's the idea, Elisheva. Even though he's no longer a Nazir, we'll always have Paris.
He'll
Who said
always have
that?
mitzvah.
Humphrey Bogart said it to, what's her name? Ingrid Bergman. 49 years later, we'll always have Paris. That experience, that high of the Nazir, even though he's no longer a Nazir, the Torah says you'll always have that for eternity, even though you're no longer a Nazir. But after 120, you'll see how that period of your life was what? Forever, even though you're no longer a Nazir. So you hit the high note once, David. Hit the high note once.
I could have been a champion.
I could have been a contender. What a powerful lesson, guys. Then the Nazir can drink wine, even though he's no longer a Nazir. That's pretty amazing, right? Lubavitch say, Chabad, you put on tefillin today, you put on tefillin today, but you won't put on tomorrow, but you'll always have today, Avram, right? Are you Jewish? Put on tefillin today, but tomorrow you won't be there. So what? You'll always have that today of tefillin. Isn't that an incredible idea? Yes.
So the abstinence of wine gave him the confidence he needed?
Yes.
There you go. Bingo.
Beautiful.
Got it now.
Now, after this period is done, he can make kiddush. Don't be afraid of wine. Now you could, you hit the high note. Now you can use wine for a mitzvah. You're rehabilitated. I think the Nazirut is called spiritual rehab.
Yeah.
Maddie, spiritual rehab, I think it's called. You can't be in rehab all your life. Can you be in rehab all your life? No. You got to face the real world after a while. Yes?
I also wonder whether backing off from a lot of the permissible things of Judaism gives you a new appreciation for the constrictions we do live under every day.
I hear. That's right. I hear that.
We eat kosher, we dress bitsmi.
To appreciate that. Right? Now look at the Birchot Kohanim. It's very easy. The Birchot Kohanim in Bamidbar 6.
Page 763.
Pasuk 24, 25, 26. They all begin with a Yud. Yivarechacha with a Yud. Yoer with a Yud. Yisa with a Yud. Why does the Birchot Kohanim begin with a Yud? Says the Zohar, Yud stands for Yud Kei Vav Kei. When you do Birchot Kohanim, Midas Adin takes a walk. Out to lunch. Dave, you listening to me? In Crown Heights, they're missing out. They don't Birchot Kohanim every day. Right? Yivarechacha, Yoer, Yisa. The Birchot Kohanim Miki begin with a Yud, says the Zohar. The Yud is Yud Kei Vav Kei. What is Yud Kei Vav Kei? Lavi-davi, Milas Harachamim. But why? Why is Birchot Kohanim all Yud Kei Vav Kei? Milas Harachamim. Why? Is it magic? Hocus pocus, Chava? Please hear me well. The Kohen makes a bracha be'ahava.
Always has to.
If the Kohen has a fight with somebody in shul,
You should not be making.
Shirley, by Midbar 6, verse 20, 24, 25, 26. If a Kohen doesn't like somebody in shul, he's not allowed to make that bracha, to bracha lavatalan. Where you have ahava among Jews, where do you have? Midas harachamim. Remember that song, All You Need Is Love? Da, 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 da. I'm telling you, they got everything from us. Bainish. The Zohar Kodesh says this. All you need is love. When Jewish people are by ahava, that the Kohen signifies that, then it's all Midas harachamim. The Midas Hadid is out to lunch. And therefore, the only Birchat HaMitzvah that's made with Bahava is what? Birchat Kohanim. So where there's Ahava among Jews, what do you have? Midas HaRachamim only. Why is that so important? Why, when Jews love each other, Elisheva, all you need is love? Why is that Midas HaRachamim and Midas Hadin is out? But Chas V'Sholom, when Jews don't love each other, Lo Yaleinu is Midas. Why is that? Fastening seatbelts. Says the Chatam Sofer. Avinu Malkeinu. I won't give up my day job. God is both, Chava. But which role is in the forefront? Our father or our king? Of course he's both. But which role is dominant?
Depends on that.
It's beautiful. Said the Chatam Sofer, Mickey, what said? Remember the NFL, you make the call? Zisel, you make the call, watch the NFL here. If we love each other like a loving family, Ahava, a lovey-dovey family, then God said, I'm your Ava Rachaman. If you behave like a loving family, then which role do you want me to play first? A loving parent. A loving parent is all about what? Ahava, Rachamim. All you need is love. But if Chas V'Sholom, the Jews hate each other, they don't behave like a loving family. What do they behave like? A group of subjects living in the same country. Then God said, which role do you want me to play? If you're only subjects, and you don't like each other, then what am I? Your king. Oh, yeah, yeah. A king is all about Midas Hadin. No good for us. Isn't that incredible that we have the power, David, to decide which role God plays in the forefront. Of course he's both, but which hat does he wear first? Kaviyachol. Depends on our behavior. If it's Bahava, said the Chassam Sofer, a loving family, then you want me to be your loving parent. Then it's all about love and Rachamim. But if Chas V'Sholom, there is no Ahava, then it's Melech, and a Melech is all about Din. So therefore, by Birchat Kohanim, which is all about love, otherwise the Kohen cannot do Birchat Kohanim, then of course Midas Hadin is out. And that's why loving each other is so important to Hashem. We demonstrate to Him that we are a loving family. We're one loving family, then He's a loving parent, and a loving parent is all about what? Compassionate mercy and love, even though we don't deserve it. But if we don't get along, Avram, we're just a bunch of subjects living in the same country, then we say, God, you're a king, Chas V'Sholom, and a king is all about strict justice. And that's not good for us at all.
That's a dilemma on Rosh Hashanah. Because we want Rachamim.
That's right.
But today of dinner.
So one day a year, Rosh Hashanah is enough for us, David. One day a year is enough, but the Melech is dominant. But that's only one day a year. 364 other days of the year, we want the Avarachaman to be dominant. One day the Melech is dominant. But the rest of the year, God says, Avinu before Malkeinu, if you behave accordingly. I think it's called reciprocity. So Bibi didn't make it up, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu relationship with us. The way we behave to each other is the way He behaves to us. So is God Avinu Malkeinu? Of course He's both, David. But which role is dominant? God says, you make the call. Pretty amazing. All you need is love. Who sang that? They got everything from us. Yiddish, all you need is love. Therefore, what's the greatest mitzvah in the Torah? Love your fellow Jew. He is just like you. That's the greatest mitzvah in the Torah. Who said? Rabbi Kiva says that. Why is it so important? I just told you why. Because if we love each other as a family, then He's the Avaracham and dominant. And a loving parent will always what? Show compassion and love even though we don't deserve it. But a king, forget about it. Hey, David, king is all about strict punishment and justice. We don't want that, Avram. It's enough one day a year, like David said. Shoshana is enough. Now, one of the brachas is, who wants to read in English? Bamidbar 6:25. Bamidbar 6:25. Anybody out there? Bamidbar 6:25.
Hashem illuminate His countenance for you and be gracious. gracious to you.
May Hashem shine His face on you. Says Rashi, Ya'alecha panim tzachakot, Avram. May God show you a smiley face. Put on a happy face. So you have that? By Midbar 6, 20, 25. May God shine His face on you, says Rashi. What does that mean? God shows you a smiley face. Put on a happy face. Said Merev Rapam Zatzal, every time you smile on a fellow Jew, you're doing Velachta B'drachav. Did you know that? What does that mean? Chava, Velachta B'drachav. Mahu Afata. If God smiles on us, then if we smile on a fellow Jew, we are acting God-like. Velachta B'drachav. So you smile on a fellow Jew, you are walking in God's ways. It doesn't cost any money. Right? But some people, like, they're constipated. They just can't smile. You know? Remember that show, Smile, You're on Candid Camera? Who remembers that show? Smile, You're on Candid Camera, Avram. Well, according to the Mishnah, all of us are on Candid Camera. All of us are in Candid Camera. And after 120, God will show us the pictures. Why you have such a sour face to that Jew for? You look like a prune. Why didn't you smile on him? And what are we going to say? God says, roll that tape. Let's go to the videotape. Who said that, remember? Let's go to the videotape, Avram. So we have to smile on a fellow Jew, and by doing that, we are acting like Hashem is acting. Because Hashem smiles on us too. Pretty interesting, right? So, the Birchat Kohanim, look at the text. It starts out, Omer Lohem, by Midbar 6, Pasuk 23. It starts out in the plural, say to them. Then Yerech Hashem Yishmerecha, that's what? Singular. And then, it switches back to the plural. Starts out with the plural, Emor Lahem. And then it switches to the singular. May God bless you and keep you. May God shine His face on you. And then it goes back to what? The plural. What's the message, Avraham? Why switch from plural to singular and back to plural? We have this dual role in Judaism. We are a unique individual in front of God, and no one can do it my way, but we're also part of Klal Yisrael. So therefore, you daven Shemon Esrei, you have a Shliach Tzibur. Why are you a Shliach Tzibur for? I have my ArtScroll Siddur, I daven with Kavana. Why are you a Shliach Tzibur for? To represent that we have this double role. We are each individual in front of Hashem, unique, no one can do it my way, but we're also part of the Tzibur. So this same idea over here. Hashem blesses us as part of the Tzibur, but He also blesses us as each of us is unique and special, and no one can do it my way. So therefore, Birchot Kohanim, first Lohem, Avraham, the Tzibur, and then each bracha is tailor-made for each individual Jew, because all of us are what? Tailor-made. We're all custom designed by Him. Just like my fingerprints are unique. Chava, can I have your fingerprints, please? No. Just like our fingerprints are unique, our mission, our tafkid is what? Is also unique. Powerful message over here. Now, the Torah is so economical when it comes to words, and here the Torah repeats the same account by Midbar 7, Avraham, by Midbar 7, starting verse 20, going on to what? Verse 85, the same account 12 identical times. What each prince brought. They brought the same exact, what?
Gifts.
So say Nachshon brought this and the other guys brought a ditto. How do you say ditto in Hebrew? Why go over and over again? The Torah is so economical about what? Right? So the same thing written so many psukim when there isn't even an extra letter in the Torah. You get a question on the table? What's the answer, Rabbeinish?
Each one, David.
my way. Da 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 da. Even though they brought the same gifts, Maddie, they didn't have the same emotions, didn't have the same kavanah, didn't have the same love and awe. God doesn't need my gifts. What does God want from me? My emotion. God wants my heart, each investment, my feedback. That is different. Even though the physical gifts were the same, Yehuda, but were my kavanah the same? Was my love and degree of devotion to Hashem the same? No way, Jose. That's more important to God than any physical gift. God doesn't need my physical gift. As Rabbi Yaakov Golden reminded me, God tells the prophet Isaiah, I don't need your gifts. What do I want from you? You gotta have heart, lots and lots of heart. But where do you see that in the Psukim? If you just came to see this, Chavi, you gotta look inside for this. No extra books. It's important to double up. This idea I just told you. Maybe I'm making it up, Yehuda Lev, maybe I'm making it up. Where's it in the text, Maddie? Bamidbar 7, verse 12 and 13. If you read that carefully. Bamidbar 7, the first guy who brought the gift of him. Bamidbar 7, verse 12 and 13. Who's the first guy? Nachshon, the snake man. The snake man. Look what it says, Shirley. Eskarbono, the first who brought his korban, Nachshon ben Aminadav. And look at Pasuk Yud Gimel. Yudah. How do you translate that in English? Verse 12 and 13.
His offering was 1 silver bowl.
No. Verse 12, slowly.
The one who brought his offering on the first day was Nachshon, son of Amminadab.
Eskarbono. His korban, right?
Of the tribe of Judah.
Next, verse 13.
His offering was 1 silver.
You already told me Karbanoi. Mindel, I'm mixed up over here. There are no extra words in the Torah. You already told me in verse 12. Es Karbanoi, Nachshon ben Aminadav. So why in 13, Maddie, you repeat again Karbanoi? You already told me that his korban is going to be. Rabbi Avram, Lama Omet Karbanoi Pamayim. Seems to be an extra word. You get a question? Not looking in because you don't see it. The one who brought his korban was Nachshon. Then 13, his korban. You already told me his korban.
But it's describing what he bought.
What?
But it's not necessary. It's not necessary. It says he brought his offering.
But it says, but the first time. So why mention the first time? You hear the question on the table?
Yes.
There are no extra letters in the Torah, let alone extra word. Makarapo. Via Makka via Mishat es karbono nachshon. Again, ver karbono karas kesef. Zisli, sitting down. Verse 12. You already say karbono. So why repeat karbono again? I just told you why. His karbono nachshon. His first korban was what? Himself. Then he brought the silver bowl. God needs his silver bowl. Come on. What does God want? Ourselves. Isn't that amazing? It's in the verses. If you don't tell us the Akal, I'll be disappointed, Yehuda. He has to tell us. Vayamakis karbanai nachshon. His main essential korban was what? Nachshon. Then he brought a silver bowl. Thank you very much. God doesn't need a silver bowl. What does God want? Us. Karbanoi nachshon. Otherwise, Yehuda, it's redundant. She'll love you for it. I'm telling you, tell us Kala. She'll love. Otherwise, it's redundant. Es karbanoi nachshon. You have to impress the Kala. You know that. Otherwise, it's redundant, Zisel. His main korban was himself. Everyone is unique. No one can do it my way. And then he brought the silver bowl. But that's secondary, Rabbi Abraham. It's secondary. The silver bowl is secondary. They all brought the silver bowl. But no one brought Nachshon. Only Nachshon brought Nachshon. And no one brought Netanel ben Tzuar, except Netanel ben Tzuar. And no one brought Elitzur ben Shideur, except what? Elitzur ben Shideur. Look at the name. By Midbar 7:30. I got to get the song and you'll excuse me. a person's tafkid in life is contained in his Hebrew name. Bamidbar 7:30. Zisla, you have that? The Nasi of Reuven, what was his name? Elitzur ben Shideur. What does Shideur mean? You light up my life. That's what Shideur means. The Almighty is my light. Abraham. They got the song from us. Shideur. Shaddai Or. The Almighty is my light. That was this great man's tafkid, to teach you light up my life, before she sang the song 3,330 years ago. This tzaddik's tafkid in life was to teach what, Abraham? You light up my life. Shaddai Or. The Almighty is my light. Isn't that incredible?
Who was the snake man, Rabbi?
Oh, now why was he called a snake? I'm glad you asked me that. He wasn't an American Indian. We said a person's tafkid is contained in his name, right? Why was the Nasi of Shevet what? Yehuda, the guy who jumped in first and the Red Sea split, why was he called a snake man? Now I know Sitting Bull. Remember Sitting Bull? Flying Eagle? You never watched the...
comes from Nachash.
Nachash. Why was this great man called a snake man? Isn't that strange, Maddie?
He jumped in first
and the sea split. But why you call him a snake man? He's not an American Indian.
Why?
I'm glad you asked me. The Talmud says in Sotah that whatever the snake eats, you can give him filet mignon, you can give him chocolate ice cream. It all tastes like dirt to him. Whatever, he has no taste buds. So this great man's tafkid in life was, you're supposed to enjoy this world. But you have to realize that all of the pleasures of this world are like dirt when you compare it to Olam Haba. Just like the snake, whatever he eats tastes like dirt, but he eats it anyway. You're supposed to enjoy this world. But remember, you ain't seen nothing yet, David. All the pleasures of this world are like dirt when you compare it to what? To what? Life after life. That was this man's mission, which is contained what? In his name. Your name is Elisheva. What does Elisheva mean? My God satisfies me. Sheva, Seva, Sova. My God satisfies me. That's your mission in life, to teach that. Abraham, what does that mean? Father of many nations, right? To be inclusive, not to be exclusive. Right. My name is Ephraim. What does Ephraim mean? To be fruitful. To produce children, Talmidim, Torah. To be fruitful on many different levels. So a person's name contains his tafkid. Right? So these great people, the Torah immortalizes them forever because their mission was to teach what their name meant. Elitzur, Avram, Elitzur. What does Elitzur mean? My God is a rock. I am a rock. Elitzur. My God is the rock. Lean on me when you're not strong. God called himself the rock. A rock is a symbol of what? Permanence. Lean on me. Pretty amazing. And the Nasi of Zevulun, Eliav. What does Eliav mean? It's a common name today. Maza Eliav. My God is my father. My God is my father. What? Eliav. Then we said Ben Ruel. Remember? Oh, I got to work this in. One place the Torah calls the Nasi of God Ben Duel. In the other place it calls him Madi Ben Ruel. God forbid it's not a typo. Remember we said, Yehuda? Ben Duel means to know God. Ben Ruel means to love God. To know him. To love him. And I do. B'nai God, the Nasi of God, that was his mission in life. First God called him Ben Duel, to know God. And then, Ben Reuel. What was his mission in life, Avram? To teach, to know him is to love him. So first he's called Ben Deuel, not Ben Cartwright. Ben Deuel, and then the Torah calls him Ben Reuel. Once you know God, you learn to love him. You don't remember that song? The number one song. I think it was 59. I was dating myself. 1950. Pretty amazing, right? What?
We see Deuel.
If you look at, well, if you go back, you see where the name changed. You go back to Bamidbar at the beginning. You see Bamidbar, go back to the beginning in Bamidbar. I'm glad you're testing me. Bamidbar 1, verse 14. Bamidbar 1, verse 14, he's called Ben Deuel. Bamidbar 1, 14. You see that? Ben Deuel, which means to know God. Duel, right? No, Bamidbar 1, verse 14. He's called Ben Deuel. Don't mix me up.
In Bet it's Reuel.
Bamidbar 1, 14, he's called Ben Deuel. But if you go to Bamidbar 1, or Bamidbar, you go to Bamidbar 2, verse 14, he's called Ben Reuel. See that, Mindel?
Yes.
Don't mix me up. Bamidbar 1, 14, he's called Ben Deuel with a dalet. That means to know God. But in Bamidbar 2, verse 14, what's he called? Ben Reuel.
Okay, so
Yes, no?
in your Dalit is Ben Reuel and
That's Bamidbar 2, that's later. Bamidbar 1, 14, he's called Deuel, to know God. But once you know God, in Bamidbar 2, verse 14, that same guy is called, look at the end of the verse, Ben, thank you, which means to love God. Once you get to know him, Avram, then you get to love him. That was this Nazir's tafkid in life. So it's not a typo, God forbid. No way. Reyut, to love God. A lover of God. Reyut means a loving friend. Reya, Reyut, means a loving friend. Ruth, Reyut, she was a loving person. Ruth, Reyut, it's the same verse. Right? Reyut.
What is Yuval mean?
Where's Yuval here? One of the Nazis were not Yuval. The name Yuval, what does the name Yuval mean? Yuvula means produce, but that's not one of the names here. The word Yuval, from the root Yuvula, what does Yuvula mean? Produce. You're supposed to produce. Produce. Yuvula in Hebrew means produce. Bounty.
So Yuval
Bounty.
means producer.
A producer. You got to produce what? Not TV shows. Produce mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim. Chesed, smiles. When you're smiling. Thank you very much.